Welcome to Cooking with Bobbi Jo. Today I will show you how to make a stuffed crust pizza. It took me 2 tries to get this to work. The first try, all the cheese drained out onto the pizza, so the crust was just like a breadstick since it didn't have any cheese in it. It was still delicious, but I was going for stuffed crust, so I wasn't going to stop until I got it right. Here's a photo of the first one. It was pepperoni and bacon. It was a very good pizza. We had it while we watched the World Series. The following week I made the pizza we're about to make, and this is going to be chicken and bacon. So this time I made more dough and I used cheese sticks instead of shredded cheese for the stuffed crust. I wanted to have enough dough to roll the cheese sticks completely instead of just tucking the crust under. So let's get started with the dough. In a metal or glass bowl, pour 1 1/4 cups of lukewarm water, 2 1/2 tablespoons of sugar, and mix until the sugar starts to dissolve. Then add in 1 1/2 teaspoons of active yeast. Let it sit until the yeast starts to bubble. Then add in 2 teaspoons of salt and 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Now you can do this with a mixer that has a dough hook, but I'm going to be doing it by hand and this does get messy. So with clean hands, just start in the middle of the bowl and turn your fingers, your hand in a circular motion until a dough starts to form. It will stick to your fingers. See, it's all over my fingers. Flour a clean surface and put your dough on that surface and start kneading your dough. If your dough is too sticky, add a tablespoon of flour at a time until you get the right consistency. If it's too dry, add a tablespoon of water at a time. I've never had an issue with it being too dry. Usually it's just a tad too sticky. To knead, all you have to do is push the dough with the palm of your hand, fold it over, push it with the palm of your hand again, and you just keep doing this until it forms a ball of dough that isn't too sticky. I've always kneaded dough by hand. I've never done it with a dough hook, but I just ordered a mixer that was on clearance because mine quit after 13 years. So this one has a few attachments, including a dough hook. I'm actually excited to try it because my hands have hurt a lot since I've had COVID and it's difficult to knead dough. Okay, once you have a good ball of dough, then pour a couple of tablespoons of olive oil in a mixing bowl. I'm just using the mixing bowl I used to make the dough. Then place your ball of dough in it and cover it with oil and make sure you get all the sides greased because the dough will rise. I then wet a towel with warm water, cover the bowl, and I place it in the oven to rise. You just need to place it in a warm area of your kitchen. It doesn't have to be the oven. A microwave can work. Anywhere that there isn't any cool airflow will work just fine. Leave it to rise for about 1 1/2 hours to 2 hours. You can leave it longer if you're going to be busy doing something else. It's been 2 1/2 hours. I got busy with other things. So take a tablespoon or so of olive oil and oil the pizza pan. And this is a 16-inch pizza pan, by the way. Then sprinkle cornmeal over the pizza pan. This gives the bottom of the crust a nice texture and it also helps keep it from sticking. Get the dough out of the oven and punch it in the middle. Preheat the oven to 450 degrees and remove the dough from the bowl and place it in the center of the pizza pan. When spreading my crust on the pizza pan, I just use my fingertips and I work the crust until it reaches the edges. Since this will be a stuffed crust, I want enough crust around the edge to wrap the cheese sticks in it, so I want a lot of crust around the edge. Once you have the dough pressed out, put the cheese sticks down along the edge. Then fold the dough under the cheese stick. I make sure it is fully wrapped and tucked under. If you just cover it and then press the edges of the crust together, all the cheese will leak out. So it's very important that the cheese stick is basically wrapped in the dough. I'm making sure underneath the cheese stick is completely covered in dough and it's meeting the other side of the crust. Some of my edges are a little thicker than others, and if that bothers you, you can go around and try to straighten it up a little. It will taste good either way, so I'm not going to bother with it. I melted 1 tablespoon of butter and mixed in 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. I brushed that over the entire crust. Then I sprinkle grated Parmesan cheese over the crust. Then Italian seasoning, and lastly some hot pepper flakes. At this point, you can add whatever your heart desires. This is your pizza, so make it with whatever toppings you like. We like Alfredo sauce instead of pizza sauce, so I'm going to spread Alfredo sauce over the pizza. Then I'm going to top with mozzarella cheese. And I deboned a rotisserie chicken from the deli, and let me tell y'all, this thing was so dry. I ended up soaking it in water to give it a little more moisture. But I'm going to spread the chicken out across the pizza, and I also fried up 5 slices of bacon that I'm going to add to the pizza. Then I'm going to sprinkle some more cheese over the top because you could never have too much cheese. Okay, it's ready to go in the oven. Place it in the oven and bake until the crust is golden brown. And I like my cheese to be brown some too, so I cook mine a little longer than some people. This cooked for 18 minutes. Just keep an eye on it, and when it looks like how you like your pizza, then take it out of the oven. The cheese is melted and the crust is lightly browned at about 14 minutes, but cook times on ovens do vary. The crust was perfect and the cheese sticks were still inside, and that's how I make my stuffed crust pizza. Don't forget to tune in Friday for the next episode of the Lake Hill City Birds. We've had some interesting birds migrating through. Next week, I will be posting Thanksgiving recipes all week, and then the following week, Thanksgiving week, I'm going to be taking off from YouTube to spend time with family, and we also celebrate our wedding anniversary Thanksgiving week. After cooking all these Thanksgiving recipes, a pizza will probably be good for Thanksgiving. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a very blessed rest of your week.